4, go. Alright, hello. I'm still just setting up, so give me a moment. I've got to put an astrodoodle together. This black blob here is actually Bubba. And I'll have to push him out of the way in just a moment, okay? So, just bear with me while I get things set up. Okay. Let's see how this works. There we go. Smell. Alright, let's see. Okay, come on, little computer, you can do this. So that's not working either. Alright, let me get back over here a second. I gotta make a few adjustments, as you can tell. Clickety click, those clicking sounds is me doing the homework on the computer, trying to get things operating properly. Close that off, close that off. Give me a second here. Tricky things, these computers. That'll do. Thank you very much. Let's have a look here. Yep, red marker. Party pooper. For me personally, it's been a very interesting time over the last few days since that full moon. The way I saw it, we had this cluster of energy over here on the Cancer Capricorn axis, okay, at that full moon. And at the same time, we had the Leo Aquarius energy over here at the same time. Okay. And just before the full moon, we had the Sagittarius Gemini opposition over here, all over the south node. Now, as of, well, I guess the last couple of days or so, it is now official. Jupiter and Neptune are retrograde. So we have in total Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto retrograde, and Mercury is now direct. So some would say out of the frying pan, into the fire, into the fire, into the fire, into the fire. So let's just put that aside. I don't want to scare people. This is just how things are, and it's just up to us what we do with it all. It's just energy. It's just pure energy fields. What are we going to do with it? Yeah, so anybody right now who has a significant Capricorn element or a significant Cancer element or a significant Leo Aquarius element, something like that on the Leo Aquarius axis, or the Taurus element, you're going to feel all of that in one form or another. Let me just put this up a little closer so you can see better. Here we are. It's the usual suspects at the moment. We've got Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, just sitting there. Okay, it's just literally sitting there. It's just like, it gets to the point where you go numb. Whatever part of your if you look at your personal chart, okay, for example, you look at your personal chart, wherever you find Capricorn 26 degrees, that's where there's going to be a lot of pressure. It's the sort of pressure where it's like, have you ever done that thing, you hold a fist, okay, and you hold a fist for so long, after a while your hand goes numb and you don't even know you're holding a fist anymore? It's that kind of pressure. You don't even know how to interpret it or what it means. You don't even know it's aware. It's like having a dead elbow. It's like having a part of your body that's totally numb from pressure and pain. It's very difficult to handle those aspects. But it is happening to all of us. But it is happening especially to the United States, if you think of the United States as an entity, just like a human being. Also, you know, with the Cancerian energy, that is very closely associated with the United States. And once we get towards the middle of July, it's really going to increase the pressure here in the United States. The Gemini North Node axis is happening, involving, just as we predicted, that fellow Donald. He's a very famous person. He's a bit of a lightning rod, a bit of a, let's say, a controversial figure. As predicted, he is very much back in the headlines again. So there you go. And he's not going away, because this is all associated with the evolution of the United States. Okay? This axis is associated with the evolution of the United States. This axis is associated with the evolution of the United States. We already know this one. The United States is born with Pluto in Capricorn, 27 degrees, and about 4 planets in Cancer. Okay, so there you go. The other thing is that the United States is born with a Leo North Node and an Aquarius South Node. So there's intense pressure on the United States evolutionary axis to evolve right now. And you might have noticed that the United States is having a very, very bumpy ride with all of that. On top of that, compounded with this axis here, this is active right now. It's going to be active for a little while as Mars and Venus move through Leo. We got this big fat T-square here. T-squares are fantastic situations for learning experience because they put a lot of pressure where it's almost like you cannot avoid the problems. You just have to deal with them. And you can try, you can avoid them, and it'll just come back to you worse later on. But in the meantime, it's better just to deal with it in the real time, in the moment, as you can, as best as you can. So, again, just like we always do, this is just the astrological weather in very simplified terms for planet Earth and for everything on planet Earth right now. That's the planets, the plants, all the multi-billionaires, all the bankers, all the slaves, all the murderers, all the hard workers, all the lovers, all the babies, the parents, everybody is dealing with this energy. But it affects each one of us in a different way because it depends on the nature of your chart. So this is what I consider to be sacred geometry. The question is, how does it impact you? Just imagine you were born with Aries at 0 degrees on the horizon or on the sun. You would be affected directly in this manner, in these houses, by these signs, with these pressure points. Pressure point, pressure point, pressure point, pressure point, pressure point. Sweet spot, sweet spot, sweet spot. Now there's still, I should probably add it here. I'm just going to put it in here as just a pin mark, okay? This aspect here is very faint right now, but it's not going away. This used to be a very heavy red aspect on my charts. It's still here, but the angles are much softer right now. But it's all about to do with disease, sickness, fraud, fake diseases, fake media, fake news, fake mainstream media, diseases that are buried, lies, betrayal, deception of one person against another, one group of people against another, in order to take a perverted, sickly, evil advantage over the masses. This is still trying to happen here. Anyway, I don't want to go into the details about this, but these aspects, all of these trigger points, touch your own chart at some point, somewhere. Question is where? Well, if you need a personal reading, I do personal consultations, and we can look at that directly. I can combine the tarot and the astrology. It's a lot of fun. Hey, Jeffrey, I got it. Delta D variant. The Delta D variant. Hello, Jeffrey. Thank you for that. Jeffrey did that on the super chat. Thank you so much. Precious, whenever you get a chance, just pop over a little donation. Okay? And who else was that? I read something. Ekat. Trent, you tried to send a super chat. I'm not sure it went through. Well, let's just wait a little while. Okay, Ekat, maybe it will show up. I'll put up a little post-it note for you anyway. If it doesn't work, you can try going back through here. Let me just show you, folks. Okay, so if the super chat isn't working... Oh, there it is. It's working. It's working just fine. Thank you, Ekat. Let's just do it. It's already done. There you go. Perfect. So I got room for a couple more readings if anyone's interested. Thanks, Jeffrey. Thanks, Ekat and Precious. We'll sort you out. Don't you worry. Okay. All right. Let's. So if anyone wants to make a donation, you can go to tarotlumination.com and do it that way. You click the donate page and it comes up with the donate button right there. You see it? The other way you can do it is, again, it's the old-fashioned way. If you have your own PayPal account, you can just send money to my email, a little bookabout at yahoo.com. Also, if you wanted to, you can do the super chat. Some of you have figured that out already. All right, so let's have a look. Yay, it got, yes, it worked, okay? All right, let's have a look here. First of all, let me say hi and check in with everybody. Let's see if this works. Yay, yay, we are present, we are live. This is Lumination. Greetings over here. It is very sunny and hot in Las Vegas. It is about 108 degrees outside right now. It's been a bit challenging recently because you can't live here without air conditioning. And so right now, it's attitude of gratitude for having air conditioning that works. The heat is so deadly, and it sounds crazy to have 108 degrees, but it's even more crazy when you get up to 118. In Celsius or centigrade, you're looking at about 44, 45, 46 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry, that's really hot. That's way above your natural body temperature. Basically, if you're not careful, you die. So there you go. I don't know about you folks, but when I was feeling the build-up to Jupiter and Neptune going retrograde, I was getting a lot of like spacey, trippy visual experiences, like remote viewing, spontaneous remote viewing, as though I had already ascended into the afterlife and I could do astral projection anywhere on the planet, anytime, with anybody, for any reason. And it was all very benevolent. Nothing bad happened. It was just beautiful. I attribute that to Neptune in Pisces, at the same time as Jupiter in Pisces, heading to their retrograde moment. So when they go to that retrograde moment where everything seems to reach a standstill before they start looking as though they're going in reverse, that's a very high pressure moment. So I guess my body interpreted this as at the highest frequencies of Neptunian Piscean energy, which is universal love, idealization, and beauty and wonder of universal love. How love is like an energy field. It is literally around us all the time. It's like being in a fish tank, in a fish bowl. I think I said that once long ago. Here's the story. It's kind of a joke riddle. Not a riddle, but there is a scuba diver, and he's in the coral reefs. It's very, very beautiful, and he's scuba diving. He goes down into the waters, and then this big, beautiful, crazy, amazing fish comes up to him and stares him in the eye and says, "Hey, I've seen you around here before. You're not a fish. So you might know something about the outside world. Can you tell me, I've heard about this, what is this thing called water?" And the scuba diver goes, "Huh? What do you mean? You're swimming in it. You're living in water all the time. Your whole world is water." And the fish goes, "Huh? Really? Oh, I didn't know that. What does it look like? What does it feel like?" And anyway, the scuba diver goes back up to the surface and tells his story to the people on the boat. So, there's some interesting chat going on over there. Precious at Moments is having a 93 degrees in Alberta, Canada. That's pretty hot for up where you are. You'd rather be in New Hampshire. Oh yeah, I've been over in New Hampshire. New Hampshire in summer can be very luscious and beautiful, but you have to watch out for ticks, Lyme's disease, huge mosquitoes and bugs. And it can get pretty hot and steamy up there too. You might need sort of bug spray or something like that, and you might have to have 2 or 3 showers a day. Thank you, Ikat. I'm glad you liked that story. Cheers. The reason I mentioned that story is because sometimes in a way that's the way Neptune energy is perceived. You don't even know you're perceiving it. You don't even know that the healing power of love is available to you all the time, anytime, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. It's just there. The question is, are you aware? If you are aware, then you make it your business to create a very rich and vivid relationship between yourself and the healing power of love. In some ways, it's very impersonal because it is literally like an energy field. And once you're aware of it, and once you know how to tap into it, and once you understand that it flows through you and around you and everywhere, we're all swimming in it. It's just a question of to which degree. There are people on this planet who might have tremendous power and wealth and control and a tremendous presence here in three-dimensional Earth, but they might be completely void and empty inside when it comes to the healing power of love. It is possible here on Earth to obtain so much wealth and power and control, and it feels so satisfying and so fulfilling in three-dimensional terms that you easily lose touch with the ethereal power of the healing power of love, in which we are swimming all the time. And it's very easy to convince yourself that you have everything. That really means something. I had an exchange today with a dear friend, and I was trying to explain how there are people, just like I described, who are in positions of tremendous power on planet Earth. They could be pop stars, rock stars, writers, movie makers, communicators, big tech corporations, presidents, political leaders. And they're all swimming in this energy field of very low frequency, earthbound parameters. It's a very narrow field, but that's where they operate. They don't operate in the broader spectrum where we hang out. If you're here on this channel, by definition, you are already have a pretty high degree of ESP, extrasensory perception. You might already be a person of, let's say, multidimensional experiences, and that would be your normal. And anything that hurts you or feels painful to you is probably because you are hypersensitive in some way, and you come from a loving perspective and you've worked hard to be there, and you notice when people operate outside of the parameters of love. We would interpret that as evil. So just imagine you're watching a news broadcast or something, and there's this famous world power character, and they just show up every few days on the TV and whatever, and they are responsible for the death of tens, hundreds, or millions of people. But it's of no consequence because they were just doing their day job, and they just wear it as a badge of honor or as just a side effect of taking care of business. Well, that's just what you got to do. Sorry. But do you really have to operate that way? So we're heading into an historical moment here on planet Earth, just like we did about 250 years ago, where there's going to be a mass consciousness of awakening where humanity is starting to say, you know what? There's something really out of whack with humanity. Are you seeing it? Is it just me? No. Thank God. There are millions of people on earth right now who are aware that there is something very wrong with the picture that is being presented to us by the tiny number of people who do have all the power and the control and the money, who want things to go according to their agenda. There's a huge disparity between what they would like to work for them and what would actually be good for humanity. Hold on, let me just catch up with the chat there a minute. Hold on. Jeffrey, you'd be happy? No, I'm looking at renting right now. Okay, makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense to buy. This housing market is insane. People are seriously paying $10,000 to $30,000 over the asking price. I'm out of it. Precious is trying to sell her house in New Hampshire and buy one in Massachusetts. Okay. Ikat is familiar with gematria. Hey, Ikat, you need to hang out with Love Triber. She loves the gematria. Precious has 2 houses up for sale. Canada, and USA. What a great time to be on planet Earth. Yes, there's one huge difference between being on planet Earth today than there was 250 years ago. 250 years ago, we had about 1.4 billion people on planet Earth. Today, we have about 7.8 billion people. The vast expansion of humanity occurred in parallel, is it a coincidence, with the discovery of Uranus and Neptune and Pluto. So, in the good sense, we've evolved astronomically. We've made huge leaps and bounds in order to learn how to survive and thrive and prosper more than ever before. But it's got too far. It's got to the point where humanity has become its own worst enemy on a global scale. All the things that were happening in the United States 250 years ago, when a small number of people, basically refugees from the insanity of Europe and the totalitarian mania of the British Empire and the British monarchy, they wanted to escape. They wanted freedom. They wanted rule of law. They didn't want rule of men. They wanted rule of law in alignment with natural law, according to the will of heaven, according to the laws of physics, according to the laws of nature. So they set that up. They called it the United States. The official date was 4th of July, 1776. We're coming up to that date very soon in celebration of almost a complete Pluto cycle. You've probably heard me talk about the Pluto cycle in previous shows. If any of you know anything about planetary returns, the most obvious one is the Saturn return. A lot of people have heard of that because for a lot of people it's very painful. Saturn, basically in simple terms, being a planet of karma. You get what you deserve. So if you've been a slacker, or you screwed up, or you were extremely sloppy in your behavior, guess what? You're going to get the consequences on your Saturn return. It's just like going to school or college and you get a scorecard. This is your scorecard. It's perfectly neutral. You screwed up. You're going to deal with a lot of pain for the next 30 years until your next Saturn cycle. Good luck, all the best. And the next person lines up. Hello, who are you? Okay, well, you did very well. Excellent. Congratulations, you did a superb job in your first 29 and a half years. Go for it. Make the most of it. On to your next Saturn return when you're nearly 60. So, however tough the Saturn return may be, here's another common thing, Mercury retrograde. People talk about that one a lot. There's also a Neptune return. There's a Uranus return. There's a Jupiter return. There's a solar return. All these things. But the Pluto return is almost impossible to define because it happens every 250 years or so. And right now, human beings can only live up to about 80, 90, 100, 110. So that's maybe halfway or 1/3 of the way at best. So you're never going to witness a Pluto return in your own lifetime. But if you think of the United States as an individual, as an entity with its chart, just like a human chart, a human being, then we are now in an incredibly privileged moment in history to witness the very first recorded, documented, observable Pluto return. I don't know how many astrologers are talking about it or writing about it, but I guarantee it's the most important thing on my desk these days, okay? The Pluto return that's happening for the United States is going to impact the rest of the world because the rest of the world is now completely exposed to the rest of the world. We don't live in isolated communities like Europe, America, Asia. It's all one thing. We're all living on planet Earth. Planet Earth is our home, and it has a very, very clearly defined boundary. Okay? It has limitations in 3D with things like resources: earth, air, fire, and water. Elements, minerals, gold, platinum, lithium, copper, steel, iron, aluminum, oranges, timber, whatever it is. It's all very clearly defined and very clearly measured. And, 150 years ago, let's see, 125, about 125 years ago, people never considered the limitations or the boundaries of planet Earth. Everybody just thought it was just like an infinite supply of stuff. But it's happening very quickly on a global scale that humanity is realizing that we are starting to swim in our own poop and our own pee. We are creating astronomical volumes of waste inside a limited environment. And it's very hard for humanity to deal with this because nobody wants to deliberately constrain themselves and realize, I have to stop eating meat. I have to stop buying expensive mansions or expecting that I can reproduce with 5 children, and then my 5 children can each have 5 children, and each of those 5 children can each have 5 children. Some places they still operate like that. Sometimes they don't have any other alternative because your children are your future, your investment. But it doesn't work that way in the West anymore, or Europe. So I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, they're talking about real estate over there. That's great. Good luck. Okay, so I guess I should just get on with the readings. I just want to see who else is here. Give me a second. Okay, so we drew up a little astrodoodle for today. And let's have a look. Give me a second here. I want to check something. Give me a moment. Please, just give me a moment. Okay, so I got to read for Precious, and then Jeffrey, and then Akat. All right. And then, all right, I just got to see if I'm all set up and organized, ready to go. Yeah, I just want to get a beverage over here. Just putter. Chat amongst yourselves, people. All right. All right. There we hold on. I gotta just do some clickety click stuff. Here we go. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Looks like we're about ready. That'll be fine. I wish I had the time and the energy to do those big chat meetings like we did years ago. Do you remember those? Probably none of you do. But, we used to do those things. We would set up these Zoom meetings and people would show up, and Terra Lumination would do super weird, hyper advanced energy healing. Things like that. But things change. Time brings things to us, circumstances. I tend to live in the moment. I'm very aware that things are in a constant state of flux. If you looked at my chart, if you knew me personally, you would see that I have almost zero connection with planet Earth. There's nothing in there that holds me here on planet Earth. I'm mostly here because it seems like I'm supposed to be here, so I'm here. Hello, Heather. Hello, Nature Explorer. Oh, yeah. I am very enamored with earthly things. I'm very intrigued by money. I'm very intrigued by cars, beautiful houses, beautiful things, beautiful material things. And I would love to feel as though I was a participant and like I had a big career and I was successful and I had built a legacy and, like what they tend to do, what a lot of people just tend to do. You go forth and you multiply and you leave a legacy to your children and so on and so on. And it's a very earthbound experience. I am definitely earthbound, but I'm also aware that this is just a fleeting experience. And so I've had to deal with both aspects of life where I've felt deeply immersed in 3D reality and felt profoundly compelled to put down an anchor, to make my mark, to embed myself in history. And none of it happened. My life feels more like I'm just one of those Buddhist, up in the Himalayas where they do all these sand paintings. They do these amazing, intricate, beautiful paintings with highly colored, beautiful sand. It's like looking at these massive, what do they call them, mandalas. And when it's all done, they take a picture with their Buddhist iPhones to capture the moment, and then they blow it all away. And the message is that we are all just dust. We are all fleeting creatures. Wait a minute, it cut. Oh, so where was I? Okay, let me get back over here. I started rambling a little bit. Hey Heather, did you hear about the massive heat waves that's going to be going up your way? It's the same thing for Precious. She's up to 93 over there in Canada. I know a lot of people up in the Northwest territories around Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, Spokane, British Columbia. You don't really have air conditioners most of the time because you probably just don't need them. But once the weather goes above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you start thinking like, oh my God, I better go get an air conditioner. And then you realize that none of your hardware stores or supply stores carry air conditioners because normally there's no demand. Hello, Violet, it is. Hi, may I ask? Hello, Violet. Have you ever been here before? If it seems a little weird or new to you, please understand that a bunch of the people here have been coming and going for years. We just hang out kind of like a little strange boutique-y little club. I used to be so ambitious for Terra Lumination. We had a Patreon page. We were going to raise money to buy property in New Zealand. We were going to create a retreat. And people could come and visit. There would be food and advanced yoga. And there would be nature and music and singing. And, you know, that's kind of how I am by nature. I have a strong Aquarian streak inside of me, and I've always kind of been concerned about humanity in a kind of impersonal way. But it never really happened. At least it didn't happen yet. So, Violet it is. Oh, Violet, if you've never been here before, this is something that I host pretty much every Sunday night if I can. I've been doing it for years. And it's just a chance for people to hang out and get dip their toe into the world of tarot and astrology. And what I do is I offer little mini readings by donation. So, Violet it is. I don't know, if you've never had a tarot reading or looked into your astrology before, you're welcome to hang out. If you know how to operate the super chat, you can put money in the super chat, like put in $10 or something, 10, 15, 20 bucks or something, and you will get your own magic post-it note and you'll get a reading. I can handle about 2 more readings tonight if anyone's interested. So, yeah, Violet it is, if you're interested. Now, if we do it, let's say you do purchase a little mini reading. You do it through the super chat. If you want to, you can do this. You can go to terralumination.com, click the donate page, do the yellow button and bring up the processor, swipe your card. You can also do this, where you send your PayPal, if you have one, over to a little book about at yahoo.com. That's one way to do it. So anyway, I was just trying to mention to Violet it is how things happen over here. So yeah, Violet, if you're interested, then what happens is you get your own magic post-it note, you get in line, you get your reading. It's done in public, live in front of other people. And sometimes whatever messages that occur for you can have a parallel or a ripple effect on other people. So there's a kind of a hidden bonus. All right. So I just thought I'd mention that. It's a very tiny crowd that we have here. It's like being in a hot dog stand at a massive food fair, and this is the last hot dog stand at the end of the last aisle, but we do good stuff. Okay? Alright, so this applies to everybody. We talked about this before. Violet, if you weren't here earlier, we were talking about the astrodoodle for the day. The red stuff is the scary things where we are all challenged, okay? And the green stuff are the sweet spots where we can kind of enjoy the comfort. Hello, Sarah. Greetings. Thanks for dropping by. I'm going to start the readings now. Precious, you're up. All right. So like I said, I've got room for about 2 more post-it notes. I'll just leave these here like this. How about that? One there and one there. And then we'll get on with the reading. So right now, Precious, you're up. Let's do this. I've got to get some cards. Hope you're sitting comfortably. All right, that'll work. gosh. The weather is so strange. My post-it notes are curling up for no reason. All right, there we go. Let's try that. How about? So I'm just going to shuffle these live right in front of you, okay, precious, so that you know you got a clean deck. Let's bless this deck, bless every single card, bless the technology, the cameras, the internet, the wires, the microphones, the lighting, all the software, and the developers who built all this stuff that allows us to do any of this in the first place. It's absolutely amazing as far as I'm concerned, even though most of it nowadays just take it all for granted. Hey, Kat, you said you're in Florida, right? Have you ever been to St. Augustine? I'm very interested and curious about that place right now. I'm studying it for weather and climate and real estate and things like that because I'm just curious about those things. St. Augustine, I think it's about an hour south of Jacksonville, Florida, on the East Coast. But it looks to me like they have a really steady, reliable, moderate climate, and they're right by the ocean, which is very appealing. Nature Explorer. Wait a minute. Did you just show up? Or wait a minute. Hold on, Precious. I want to check through the chat. Whether Nature Explorer. Oh, where? Hello, Nature Explorer. I'm just saying hi, but did you show up earlier and I just missed you, or what? No, there you are. There you are. I see you in the chat earlier. Well, what do you know? Thank you. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. I need to... You have... So, Ikat, you have been to St. Augustine. Okay. I wouldn't mind having a chat about that one day in the near future on the side, if you're interested. We could set up a meeting or something. I'd give you a free mini reading. Let's have a look. Okay, Nature Explorer, you just bought yourself your own magic post-it note. Wow. There you go. Thank you. I guess the name Nature Explorer speaks for itself. I've had lots of nature adventures in my life. Maybe not nature adventures, but I've had lots of adventures and I've done a lot of exploring. I've lived in a lot of different places and I've traveled a lot. But right now, it's all about Las Vegas, baby. All right, let's get on with your reading, okay, Precious? Let's do this. Precious, I know you have a kind of very intense type of life because it's like you put so much into who you are and what you do, and you deserve all the happiness that you can get. But sometimes it's bumpy. And as we have noted, I believe, Precious, that you have a very prominent Capricorn aspect to your astrology. So it's no wonder you've been feeling so much pressure. It actually started in 2008, 2009. And the whole Pluto in Capricorn transit is going to finish right at the end of 2023. And you've been living through all of that. Okay? So eventually the pressure will back off a little bit. But for the time being, you're probably still feeling like you're under a lot of pressure. Ikat. Hey, Ikat, this is a history lesson. Thank you, Ikat. Another reason I was asking about St. Augustine is because Everybody knows Gregory Ross. He visits the channel frequently. He hangs out with all of us frequently. He's on his own journey just like the rest of us. But he was in St. Augustine recently, and it looked like it was a beautiful place. Yeah, apparently St. Augustine is one of the landing points of the very early explorers in the 1400s. All right, precious, so let's have a look. Let's see what kind of messages we have here for you tonight. It sounds that you're in a lot of, I don't do jumpers, sorry. Don't read anything into that. Don't bother to rewind it and check what that card was. Please, seriously, okay? All right, let me just pop over here for a second. I got to do this properly. All right, here we go. So, all right. Thank you, precious, for your patience. We've done this many, many, many times. I use the same old spread over and over and over. Why do I do that? Because it works. I have my situational spread. I have my crucible spread. I have my heart soul journey spread. And I have an extension spread. That's really all I do. Some people just make it so freaking complicated. It doesn't have to be that way. No, ECAT, don't. I mean, ECAT, if you want to rewind, go back all the way to the beginning if you want to see some notes about the astrodoodles. But otherwise, let's just move on. All right, precious, here we are. Let's bless every single card. We already did the blessing, okay? So let's just get on with it. Precious. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it, and what's the weather like for you. As you know, I'm going to refer to the planets, but let's have a look. So, we have the Two of Pentacles. Oh, gosh. Reading from your notes earlier in the chat, precious, this is very, very appropriate. The Pentacles refer directly to the physical realities of life. Anything to do with, like, you know, your housing, your finances, your locations, your day-to-day activities, your job, your chores, and anything that you would measure in three-dimensional reality. And look at that. Now, why doesn't the... Okay, there it is. So, can you see on the all the turbulence on the oceans and the seas in the background? And here's the energy of having to maintain balance, okay, during times of potentially extreme turbulence. So, if that... Thank you, Eka. Okay, let's not make fun of this, okay? The Two of Pentacles here is an indication, precious, that to me it feels like you need to be very, very careful. You need to be very light, be very agile, need to be willing to move and shift in let's say, very flexible ways, as if you had huge amounts of Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius energy. All the mutable signs energy, which are constantly in a flux. So, to me, this looks like a message. It feels like a message. It's more like, to me... Okay, most of you know that I take tarot reading to the extreme. To me, this is a message as though it's like a blinking light on the dashboard of your car. And it's just saying things like, be careful, alert, alert. You know, has some of these very advanced cars, they have fog warning alerts, or temperature alerts, or your engine's getting too hot, or your anti-skid brake system is failing, or whatever. It's just an indication that the energy fields here, okay, there's a tremendous amount of flux, okay? This is a really powerful energy of opposition. This is an opposition here. This happens, and you feel this in the context of relationship dynamics with the most important people in your life right now. And when you add in this T-square here, please allow for instability, unpredictability, and shock and disruption. Anything to do with three-dimensional worldly reality, that's the Taurus energy here. The value systems. Uranus is basically doing this to planet Earth right now. Okay? It's affecting everything. Climate. Extreme cold, extreme bizarre winters, extreme heat, extreme summers. Highly unpredictable and very destructive and shocking things to do with fires, earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes. Everything to do with the physicality of Earth. What they call supply chain disruptions, the food chain disruptions, factory farming disruptions, commodity disruptions, gold, silver, lithium, aluminum, steel, orange juice, timber, all of it. It's in a state of shock. It's like when you have like a contact breaker, and it's reaching its limit of ability to make contact. In a healthy contact breaker, a little electric pulse triggers the connection. It goes like this: doopy doopy doo, click, and the energy flows, and then it stops. But what's happening on planet Earth with Uranus in Taurus at about 12 degrees is this. It's what's called arcing. Arcing is the same energy that when you see that with electric welding. Electric welding takes advantage of the arcing phenomenon, and it turns that intense heat and light and power into a manageable tool, like a welder, an electric arc welder. But sometimes it's too much to handle, and it becomes very dangerous, and it just becomes explosive, and it sparks, and it's highly unpredictable. That's happening with planet Earth right now. Okay? That's what I'm sensing is happening here. And the message with the Two of Pentacles is to be aware of that. Okay, precious? Be aware that you are living at a time and an environment where, yeah, sure, go on and live your life. Keep doing what you do in very responsible, timely manners. You know, figuring things out with the real estate and the houses and the finances and all of that. But please understand that things are very, very unstable, very unpredictable. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's super good. It doesn't mean anything except what I just said. So it means you have to live very much in the moment. You can't project too far into the future. You can't lean too far on the expectations of the past. You just have to deal with things exactly as they are in the moment. In the now. I deal with that energy when I do my huge heart spread readings. But they take a lot of time and a lot of money. All right, here. What's the situation itself, precious? Okay, let's get straight to the point. You're already at the precipice, okay? You're already at the end of one lifestyle package deal, and you're already looking at like the opening sequence of a new lifestyle package deal. See if I can get this really nice, pretty, clean picture. This is the prettiest princess award image. It's not happening. It worked really well the other day when the studio was up in the other place and the lighting seems to work better. Let's try this at a slight angle. No, it's still not happening. That's as good as it's going to get. These cards are really beautiful when you see them close up. But yeah, Precious, for you, it's very, very obvious that you're looking right now at this moment in time. You are at the point of change, the point of no return. There is a certain lifestyle that is basically over or in the process of ending, and simultaneously a new lifestyle is opening up for you. But you are so deep in the moment, and you have to stay very deep in the moment in such a way that you might not notice this on such a big scale. This is really a big deal for you, and obviously I'm sure you know this already. You didn't really, maybe it helps to have me, amplify the message for you. But yeah, so this reading already looks very accurate, and we haven't even hardly started. Anyway, what's the problem here? Okay, Precious, it feels to me like the real problem is that you wish you could have total command and control over the situation. You are very capable. You know this deep down. You are a woman of substance. You understand physical reality. You understand the burdens and the responsibilities of life. You understand that, everything happens for a reason and that you reap what you sow. And because you know this already, it would make perfect sense for you to be able to feel like, well, I can just take care of this. And then you realize, oh my God, even with all my best wishes and all my strength, my desire, my power, my gifts, I can't just make this happen the way I want it to happen according to my will. This is a real problem. It means I actually have to submit and humble myself to a higher power, which is also a part of you, but it's the part of you that you might not be so familiar with, where you have to surrender to the higher power and on the understanding that everything is exactly as it should be. And why is that, and how is that so? Answer: because it can't be any other way. Things are the way they are. Simple physics, simple laws of nature. And that's sometimes very hard to grasp for people who are very capable of just making stuff happen. And so it looks to me like a struggle. To me it feels like the real struggle for you it's not to do with whether your journey is unfolding or not. It is. The old life is ending and the new life is beginning. It's just that the real struggle is being deep in the moment and having to deal with the tiny details of every single day as you go through them. You wake up and within 30 minutes, an hour, within 2 hours, you're facing a whole day of problems that have to be solved. And you do the best you can, and then it's too much and you end up having to go to bed because you can't take it anymore. And then that just repeats over and over and over again. And so you start thinking like, well, why does it have to be that way? Why? Well, I have the best of intentions. Everything is aligned. And yet you have to deal with all this stress and constantly having to micromanage everything to the point of exhaustion. I get it, Precious. If you're suffering exhaustion, and at the same time you feel and you know that you are ending one life and beginning another life. That's all happening simultaneously. That puts a lot of pressure on the body, the mind, the heart, and the soul. So it would be very understandable if it almost feels overwhelming to you. Now, how are we going to deal with this? Because in some ways you're already doing really well. It's just that I think you needed a reminder here that you really have to pay attention minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. How are we going to deal with this? Oh, well, that's pretty much just what I was saying. With the Knight of Pentacles here, the way to handle your situation is with deep humility, deep respect, deep honor, deep commitment to the physical realities of life in this world, coming with the best of intentions. I'm looking at this from a very loving perspective. So when I see the Knight of Pentacles here, this is to me, very encouraging, very good news in terms of how you proceed from here. This lines up beautifully with the Two of Pentacles over here in such a way that all you have to do is remember you are already on path. You have a deep struggle at the soul level, but you're on path. And so long as you continue to maintain very close awareness of the details of life, managing your finances, your budget, all the day-to-day tasks, anything, whatever, the tiniest thing, your shopping, the groceries, the budget, paying bills, doing work, doing jobs, tasks, chores, taking care of family, all of that. Just keep doing that in a very noble, honorable, responsible way, as if you are a farmer. Imagine yourself as a farmer where, okay, it might not be the most glamorous way to live, but when you do it properly, it can be very satisfying at the soul level. So in other words, with the Knight of Pentacles, you make it your business to keep going forward, one day at a time, living by example. I'm looking at the Pentacles here very much as love is as love does, okay? Love is as love does is very measurable in 3D experience. It's sometimes very hard work. It's sometimes very tedious. That's why I mentioned the energy of a farmer. The responsibilities and the work of a farmer never go away. You have to get up. You got to do this, and then that, and then that, and that, and that. And then hopefully by the end of the day, you can have a few moments to yourself to relax and recuperate and heal. And then you start all over with whatever happens on the next day. But you do it with love and the best of intentions, with the highest set of values for the highest outcomes for yourself and your loved ones. So in a way, the reading is very simple. But simple is not easy. It looks like it's just continued diligence, continue the work, understand and just be reminded that you really are at a pivotal point. End of an old life, beginning of a new life. And you just have to do it one step at a time, okay? You can do this, precious, but it's a lot of pressure, a lot of work. A lot of the pressure is at the deep soul level. I think you can handle the physical reality. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but the real challenge for you is at the deep, deep soul level where like, wow, why does this have to be so hard? Why can't we just go from life A to life B? Because we already know it's going to happen. Why can't we just flip the switch? Well, no. You have to actually live through it. You can do this, okay, precious? You can do this. Don't worry. You just needed a bit of encouragement, okay? Thank you, precious. Next up, Jeffrey, what's going on? I know, Jeffrey, you're dealing with a really big, serious, three-dimensional monetary issues right now. Real estate, property, renting versus buying, moving houses, change of one lifestyle to a new lifestyle. Not a lifestyle, a lifestyle package deal into a new lifestyle package deal. Thank you, precious. We'll square up another time, okay? Hey Chantal, I didn't see you there. Greetings. Hi. Thank you, Akat. You're funny. So we're going to read for Jeffrey, then Akat, and then Nature Explorer. There we go. Thanks everybody, by the way, for your donations over the years. Thank you, Jeffrey. We are going to freestyle. I love it when people give me permission to go freestyle, because it means I don't have to adhere to whatever kind of history that we've built up over the years as clients and reader type of thing, you know. We get to live in the moment. All right, let's have a look. I'm now going to swap out beverages. Stay right there. Don't go away. I have these quirky habits. I like my whiskey. I like my red wine. And occasionally I like a beer. It's very simple. I'm not an alcoholic. I just like my little sip. I think of it as part of my healthcare plan. Cheers, Jeffrey. Cheers, everybody. That is so good. Cards are well shuffled. You are a witness, Jeffrey. Okay, so let's go for it. This is who we're reading for right now. Okay? Got it, Jeffrey. I see that. Okay, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Let's see what comes up with the reading. I understand your concern about the timing. Timing. You already know you're on the way out. You're going through the like a vortex, going in and then coming out. So timing is very important. I do a lot of my timing issues in regards to the charts. For example, Jeffrey, the timing could be calculated anything from like, well, where is the sun right now relative to your chart? Or when it comes to locations or movement, think of the fourth house. What is the fourth house in your own chart? What aspects and things are affecting you in your fourth house? And so on and so on. You can do it that way if you want to. But we can kind of do it this way too, here with the tarot. All right. Here we go. Here's the situation. Sorry. Let me go to the weather here. Look at that. Okay, so we got the Ten of Cups here. To me, this looks like it's like a really powerful message. It's like, Jeffrey, you got to do what works for you in your heart of hearts when it comes to home and family. To me, it feels like whether you like it or know it or not, it's important to understand that wherever you lay your hat, that is your home. And home equates to family, your loved ones, your people. To me it feels like you can't really separate home and family in this situation. So you could look at your situation from different perspectives, like what is the best thing to do in terms of pure dollars and cents, and how much value am I going to get for my move or the property, or should I rent or should I buy? It sounds like you're leaning towards renting than buying because the markets are so distorted at the moment. Understandable. So I think with the Ten of Cups here, it's almost like the message is like really, really simple. You're surrounded by this benevolent energy field, which is basically telling you, Jeffrey, you have to do what makes you feel warm and fuzzy and happy inside. And yes, you're a businessman, but even though it might be advantageous to own or do things in a certain way with, certain obvious logical progressions with money and long-term investment, but right now, what really counts is just getting that warm, happy, fuzzy family feeling. Like, for example, if you keep shopping for property and renting and buying, it's important to take into the account what makes you feel really warm and fuzzy inside. Even though it might not make sense. Let's say, like, logically right now, the mathematics is telling you, this is stupid to buy. And so you look at the rentals. And let's say nothing works with rentals. And you think, God, I'm going to have to look at buying again. And then let's say something comes up in the purchase and you think, this doesn't make any sense to buy it. But I feel really good with this place, with this neighborhood, with these people, with this town. It makes no sense. Okay, that's kind of what I'm suggesting here. That's what I'm feeling here. On the other hand, if you are really determined to buy, and because you understand the dynamics of owning property and how it can be very advantageous for you in the long term, and yet you see a rental property and you think, you know what? I'd be much happier with just this rental thing over here. And forget all the financial advantages of purchasing and ownership, blah, blah, blah. So this is very much about deep heart energy and making your decisions about what to do, where to go, and where to relocate based on the most important thing, which is feeling safe and secure and happy at home when you close the door and lock up the front door at night. I mean, who wants to own a place that might be really good on paper and then realizing I can't sleep, for whatever reason, the financials on paper or the neighborhood with, fire engines or cops or, different political views, whatever it is. Comfort in the home is so, so important, okay, for you, Jeffrey? All right. Close the door on buying. So you're looking at renter. Okay. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? So we already know from your definitions on the chat where we are. Hello, Starzy. I see you. Okay, so we've got the King of Swords here. So my feeling is the situation is that it's almost like you're going to have to be really tough on yourself. And let's say you might, what I was talking about here, there might be a really powerful emotional drive to do what makes you feel safest and most secure at home, wherever you're going to lay your head at night, wherever you're going to hang up your hat, wherever you're going to close the door and lock it at night. It has to feel good and safe and comfy and cozy, even if it's a rental. Okay? So, I am kind of doing a blind reading, Jeffrey, but from your notes, there's definitely an influence here. So with the King of Swords, my feeling is that it's like you're going to have to be really like brutally honest with yourself and with the people with whom you're working, like a realtor, for example, or your projections for a future life and a new business and everything. You're going to have to do some, you're going to have to operate from the perspective of universal truth, universal laws, okay? Indisputable laws that apply to everyone and everything. In other words, it's very important that you filter all of your decisions through like a truth filter. In other words, the realtors or the people that you're working with, let's say you bump into a property, whether it's a rental or a purchase, they have their own agenda about what works for them. And they might be very gifted and seductive in how they present themselves to you in such a way that you could easily be convinced, like, wow, maybe this is the right place for me. But something deep, deep, deep inside says, you know what? There's something out of alignment with universal truth. It isn't just me, it's universal truth that says, no, this is not going to work. On the other hand, the reciprocal is that when you come across the right place at the right time for the right price in the right location through the right people, you will know it. You will feel it as a fact, as some form of universal truth. And it will be very simple and pure, and it'll be like, okay, this is the place. This is the price. This is the location. Let's do it. But it means having to go through very, very strict, very, let's say, uncompromising filters. It would, in other words, you're not allowed, it's like you're not allowed to make a decision that has about an 80% feeling of goodness. You have to go with 95, 97.5%. Nothing less than really good is going to work for you. Okay, Jeffrey? Got it? Hello, R. Williams. I saw your note there. Bye. Hello. So that's kind of a lot of pressure. It might mean you have to do a lot of filtering. For some reason, I guess because of your notes, we're dealing with real estate, property, and relocating. So with the King of Swords here, it feels to me like you might have to do a lot of filtering, either yourself or with a realtor or with multiple realtors, to finally get somewhere in a situation where you are at the right place for the right price, in the right location, for the right reasons, okay? So, just be aware of that, okay, Jeffrey? What are the challenges here? Okay, with the Hierophant, my feeling is that because you're already like a natural businessman by nature, it would be perfectly normal and ordinary for you to do things in accordance to what makes sense in terms of business. And then you lock it in to a contract. And you formalize the situation. However, at the same time, your natural business acumen is telling you, oh my God, the last thing I want is to enter into a contractual obligation with anyone or anything like a realtor or a bank or a mortgage or a lender or a rental agreement that ultimately does not work. It's almost like the worst thing you could do is make a decision on an impulse or because you're just frustrated. I just want to get things done. Let's just wrap this up. So that's understandable. So with the Hierophant here, there might be a very deep fear of putting pen to paper on a contract. Buying a place, renting a place, doing all those things that they do with rental agreements and property deals where they have to scrutinize your finances and all of your personal details to figure out whether you're worthy of a rental agreement contract or a mortgage agreement contract, blah, blah, blah. That can be extremely intimidating, especially in today's market. I think Love Triber brought something up earlier, and I'm aware of how there are what we call proxy buyers or straw buyers who are going out there acting on behalf of multi-million, multi-billion dollar real estate investment trusts, where they are basically saying, like, you're getting outbid on properties. You're getting outbid by people who don't really care what the price of the property is. They just want that title. They want that property because then they can own it and put it on their real estate investment portfolio back in Wall Street. 99% of Americans are not aware of this phenomenon. But Jeffrey, you are. And so naturally you are backing away a little bit. You don't want to get in a fight with a bank and you end up paying $350,000 for a piece of property that's only actually worth $290,000, okay? Just to prove a point. So, yeah, the whole idea of actually closing a contract, putting your name on the line, putting your finances on the line, and committing to a formal contract can be very scary. We can understand why you might want to back away from a purchase and think in terms of a rental. But even rental agreements have very significant implications, okay? It's understandable why you might be quaking at this period. How are we going to deal with that? Remember, Jeffrey, you're a very capable person. You are a person of substance. You come from deep heart, soul energy, but you're also very closely understanding of three-dimensional reality. That's the nature of a business person. Okay, so with the Five of Pentacles, you go forward on the understanding that if I make a bad decision, it's going to backfire on me really badly. So remember, with the Five of Pentacles, that is wealth and abundance. That's there and fully available. But with the Five of Pentacles, it's also a very stark reminder that you need to be very aware of the people with whom you contract. Okay? The contract could lead to abundance. Okay? Comfort, happiness, home. You might find a sweet little place. Maybe you could really downsize, seriously downsize, for example, and be willing to accommodate yourself in a very modest way in order to diminish your financial commitments to accommodations where the whole world of real estate in America is under a period of deep flux and deep distortions. So, going forward, the way you the way you can move forward is to understand, like, the wrong contract with the wrong people at the wrong time and the wrong place for the wrong reasons is going to lead to poverty in body, mind, heart, and soul, and misery. On the other hand, Five of Pentacles. Remember, relationships are very important in the Five of Pentacles. When you do find the right place at the right place, the right place at the right price with the right people for the right reasons in the right location, then what might appear to be a very modest situation could actually be very valuable to you. To me, it looks like there's a very strong argument here towards downsizing, like really minimalizing the living situation down to simple functionality. In other words, do you have to have a big, fancy, pretty, expensive home to be happy? Maybe, maybe not. If you can be happy in your heart and soul with having something that's mathematically very sound, where you can enjoy the start of a new time, a new life, a new location in a way that's extremely affordable, that could be an option. Yeah, for example, renting could be a really good way to go. And so long as you do the agreement in such a way that you have a lot of flexibility. In other words, you might not want to sign a one-year contract. It might be an idea to go for something like on a month-to-month basis. So you keep yourself in good shelter. You protect your assets and your resources, but it might mean living in very modest ways with low expectations so that you can survive during all the turbulence. Like, it's almost like the worst thing you could do is make a huge commitment to a beautiful property only to find that the markets get distorted and perverted later on, and that what could have been something wonderful turns into a nightmare. You don't need that. You're already aware, Jeffrey, you're really good at business. I think this reading is just all about like refinement and reassurance that you're on the right path already. It's really important to acknowledge the deep fear of contracting and commitment with anything and everything that does not ultimately work for your highest good. And then, if necessary, downsizing and streamlining everything into a very simple way that does ultimately work for your good, so that you are not crippled by debt or contracts or commitments, and instead you can access your resources in a very frugal, very well managed way for the long term. Okay? Exactly, Jeffrey. You will choose wisely. Thank you. All right. Hey, Kat, you're up next. I see some notes. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me read your notes there, Kat. I'm just going to clear the stage. Give me a second, Kat, and then I'm going to read your notes. I see a bunch of notes there from you on the chat. Thank you very much. R. Williams, hello to all. Okay, now there was something earlier from Kat. Hold on, I want to check that in the chat. Where is that here? Where is that? What is okay, I'm just going to read this one, Kat, but I know you had something earlier. Okay. What do I need to know to begin to prepare myself now for the incoming energy 6 months from now? I want to be proactive. Wow, that's awesome. Let's do this. What do I need to know? Oh, this is perfect. Okay, let's do this. Hello, R. Williams. Hello, Starzy. Sorry, I dropped a whole pile of cards. Give me a second here. I just want to do some clickety-click stuff. All right. All right. Alright, let me do this. Give me a second. Thank you. There we go. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. Just want to check in again. Hi, Jeffrey. Thanks for giving me permission to just go wild with all of that. I hope it makes sense. You're a very smart guy. You're a businessman. You're way ahead of so many people. So I'm sure you'll figure it out. All we had to do in the reading is do a little bit of fine-tuning. That's all. Ikat, you're up. Hello, Ikat. By the way, I'm just going to extend something to you. Please get in touch with me if you feel like it. Through tarotlumination.com, you can use the email alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. I'd love to chat about your knowledge of St. Augustine, Florida. Okay? Cheers. Here we go. Let's get on with it. So we're reading for Ikat, and then we're going to read for Nature Explorer. Let's have a look here. I'm just doing some clickety-click stuff. All right. Thank you. I see that. I'm going to keep shuffling for a little bit more. Thank you. What do I need to know to begin to prepare myself now for the incoming energies 6 months from now? I want to be proactive. Okay, 6 months from now, okay, Ikat. We are in the Cancerian energy right now. 6 months from now, we're going to be in the Capricorn vibes. That's at the end of 2021 and heading into 2022. The pressure is still going to be very intense, if not more intense, with the Capricorn Pluto vibe here. Also at that time, 6 months from now, okay, Ikat, we're going to be looking at the new moons and the full moons regarding Capricorn, Cancer, Cancer, Capricorn, like Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, for example, or else Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, for example. That's all happening roughly 6 months from now. So it's going to be happening up here. This energy here is extremely slow moving. It's so slow that most people don't even know that it exists. But in my world, this is the biggest deal in astrology right now. So Ikat, 6 months from now, it's like you're asking to focus on this area here in your life. So in other words, Let's say you know a lot about your own personal astrology. What you might want to do right now, in order to plan for this period ahead, is to pull up your own astrology chart and pinpoint the degrees. Well, it could be anything from like when the sun arrives in Capricorn to when it leaves, and the new moon and the full moon, all that kind of energy over here. But especially when Pluto is in Capricorn around 26, 27 degrees. This will be the point of interest to what we're talking about 6 months from now. So wherever this lies in your chart, that's what we're talking about. Okay? I'm glad you're astro savvy, ECAT. It really helps. Cheers. Cards are already well shuffled. I'm going to go just a little bit more to the last second. Here we go. Let's cut it up. I'm going to do a very extreme cut. So it's to me it's like my way of purifying the reading, like extreme distillation. Okay, here we go. Go Leo. You know we're going to be heading into Leo season very soon. Venus and Mars are already in Leo. You know that, ACAT, right? All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. What's the weather like for you? Okay, so you got the Ten of Swords here. Please don't panic, okay, ACAT? To me, it looks very, very simple. To me, this looks like acknowledgement. Let's just be honest here, okay, Kat? Let's just get it out there. The energies around you are trying to tell you that this is it. You can't take on anymore. It's like you can't be hurt any more than you are already, whatever that looks like. However much pain and suffering you have taken on or absorbed from planet Earth. For example, I don't know if you're an energy healer or if you're an accountant or a tax advisor or a supermom or a school teacher or a derelict or anything. You're not a derelict. You wouldn't be on this channel otherwise. So my feeling with the Ten of Swords here is to understand like the nuances of this, like right now, live in real time. Remember, this reading is happening right now at this moment in time, which is a reflection of this energy here, which is a representation of this energy here as it pertains to you. So, with the Ten of Swords here, it's a really strong message. It's like give yourself, please give yourself permission to say enough is enough. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I'm done. I'm destroyed. I am ruined. It doesn't matter anymore what happens to me. You can't inflict any more pain on me. It's a very, this to me it feels really, it's almost like a blessing. This is how it feels to me. I'm serious. Hold on. Okay, so Ika, with that Ten of Swords there, it feels to me like it's almost like the heavens, the planets was basically saying, hey, Ika, it's okay. You're beyond the point of no return. You couldn't take on any more pain or change or suffering, even if you wanted to. So just admit it. And that's a tremendous release, okay? Sometimes people have a hard problem letting go of their problems. We become so immersed in our problems and all the pain and suffering of our problems that it becomes our identity. And then when it comes to a point where you realize, oh, I've already lived through this. It's over. It's the end. But then you get left with this really bizarre vacuum. A lot of people find it very hard to deal with the vacuum feeling that comes when a period of crisis, of pain and suffering is formally completed. You're dead, gone, ruined, destroyed. The only way forward from here is up. A lot of people get very disoriented at that period, at that moment. And it's just like, wait a minute, I'm so used to pain and suffering. Where's the next problem? What do I have to do this? And it completely soaks up all their energy here. But with the Ten of Swords there, to me it feels like, hey, it's okay, Ikat. Whatever bad stuff is happening or was going to happen or is going to happen, that's already happened. You got to get used to the idea that there's only one way up from here. I'm stumbling on my words. There's only one way to go from here, and that's up. So what does that look like? And that can be very scary if you've been married to your problems, married to stress and finance and pain and suffering for so long that it just becomes part of your identity. It's just like, oh, that's my life. It's over. That part is over. So, in theory, it should be a good feeling. But one of the problems when I see a situation like this is that we are so married to our problems that when history or the astrology or fate or whatever you want to call it, or life gets to the point where that chapter is over, like you said, nature abhors a vacuum. What do I do now? Prep me for the new dawn, TL. Phoenix Rising. I see your notes. Got it. Alright, so what's the situation? Moving on. Swords. More swords. So this is very much a state of mind. Okay? Dear Ikat, it is a state of mind. The situation, you're already in it. You are already moving on. You're already in transit, in transition, moving away from anything and anyone and any place that is no longer in alignment with your highest good. It's like almost like being a refugee, where you just grab the core essentials that you know deep down are most valuable to you, and then you move on. You move very lightly, very freely, very securely, knowing that the most important things are to do with your attitude, your beliefs, your knowledge, your wisdom, your awareness, your ability to communicate, your ability to transmit and receive energy between yourself and perhaps a small handful of loved ones. That's the only thing that counts. Anything and everything else that's going out there in the world, politics, finance, careers, environment, hopes, dreams, wishes, fine, whatever. What counts for you, Ikat, is basically getting on with things. Leave behind anything and everything that could possibly hinder your progress. It doesn't matter how much you are attached emotionally, sentimentally, financially, culturally, politically, or according to your upbringing, whatever it is. If it is not for your highest good, and your body, mind, heart, and soul and telling you it's just dead weight, you leave it behind. It's like what happens in emergencies and catastrophes. All you're left with is perhaps like things like maybe your phone or your laptop or a USB thumb drive, and your knowledge and your information and your personal files online, and the most important, valuable relationships in your life, in your world. Anything and everything else is jettisoned. It's gone. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just how it is. This is actually, it sounds strange here, perhaps in a mini tarot reading, going blind online. We've never met in person. But the message is very pure and very, very clear. This message is very pertinent to actually millions of people who are in a state of flux right now with their economy, their country, their politics, their finances, where they have no other option except to grab and hold on to the most important things, which are things like truth, honesty, integrity, knowledge, wisdom, facts, information, you, your loved ones, and a vision of the future. And a total abandonment of the past. Okay, let's look at the problem here. Okay, so with the Ace of Cups here, again, this is a card of sacred opportunity. You can do whatever you want with this. You can just throw it away, pretend like it never existed. But it's in your reading. So my feeling is, with the Ace of Cups, there's this tremendous deep fear that through this time transition that is coming to you, to me it feels like there's this very deep fear that you're going to lose your connection to what I would call the healing power of love, the vortex of love, the energy field of love that is around you all the time, anywhere, simply because, like it or not, you might feel as though you're being forced to migrate or change or shift your allegiances or locations or relationships, and in such a way that it's almost like you are a refugee. You've seen those things on the news where people are just crossing the United States border with nothing more than a bottle of water, a few things in their pockets, and their hopes and dreams and wishes for the future. That's very, very scary. And it might feel to you like it's a very loveless situation, like, okay, I'm handling this. I can handle this. I am a cat. I know exactly what Tarot Lumination is talking about. But deep down, there might be this very profound terror or fear, like, oh my God, what happens if this is not real? What happens if it really is the end? What happens if I really do have to leave everything behind? Friends, family, ideas, concepts, belief systems, locations, anything and everything. What if I have to leave that behind? I think you said you're a Leo. In order to fit in with the new world that's unfolding. Is this going to be a loveless, empty vacuum? Am I just going to be like some kind of digital blob? Some kind of like a statistic in a massive ocean of billions of other people who are trying to deal with the same thing? Am I going to lose contact with my loved ones? Am I going to lose contact with the healing power of love that I already know exists in my life? Am I going to be reduced to living a life where all I do every day is just check my phone, check my email, check my finances, and figure out how can I stop the pain and suffering from getting worse? That would be very understandable here. But remember, the card is here. Think of it in the positive. It is the Ace of Cups. It's an amazing opportunity to be exposed to the healing power of love. But sometimes we don't know that until we're forced through a funnel, forced through like a nozzle of intense compression, where you don't have any other choice except to let go of anything and everything that does not comport with love or the healing power of love in the biggest concept and understanding that we talk about here. But that is a scary prospect. It would be so much nicer and easier and comfortable to take down the pressure of this reading a little bit and say, hey, why don't we just change enough so that we can just get by and be comfortable, and we'll integrate with love and figure out how that works in the new life coming. We'll just do it in little, baby steps. That's not what's happening here, okay? To me, it looks like there's a severe dread and implosion that moving on to the next level for you could put you in this state of, yeah, I've moved on, but I've left everything behind that I would consider to be love, to be loving, to be loved under the umbrella of love. That's an understandable fear. That's just fear, okay? False evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. So, how are we going to deal with this? Okay, so the way forward, my feeling here with the Seven of Pentacles is step by step. Okay, so with the Seven of Pentacles, it is June right now. So we've got July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Okay, 7. July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Sorry, what do I say? July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Okay, that's 7. Okay, think of the number 7. Okay, think about 7 months from now. Okay, we'll say it's 6 months from now. Just like what you were talking about at the very beginning of your reading. Okay, 6, 7 months from now. 7 months from now. When I see the Seven of Pentacles here, I feel that this is very closely related to the timing of your journey between now and the Capricorn Cancer energy that's going to be really powerful in about 7 months from now. Okay, right now we're dealing with the Cancer Capricorn energy. It's just coming into it. 6 months later, we're going to do the same thing again in reverse. Capricorn Sun and Cancerian Moon, for example. So with the Seven of Pentacles, my feeling here is that in order to avoid feeling like you have left an old world to enter a new world, but to get to the new world, you ended up on a sinking ship, like the refugees who try to escape from Cuba to Florida, and a lot of them die. That's not how it is for you. My feeling with this reading, it's a way for you to understand that by doing things in a step-by-step manner, okay, over the next 7 months, you make it your business. Your number one priority is weeding your own garden. In other words, removing obstacles to this. The fear of loss of this, the fear of loss of something so important, so valuable, so beautiful as the Ace of Cups energy, the fear of the loss of that can be removed by a systematic process of cleaning up as you go, so that 6-7 months from now, you've done the work. So in other words, all the harvest, pentacles, think of that as measurable love, measurable worldly experiences. All of that, which is buried in a nest of weeds and entanglements from a lifetime of not even knowing that this exists, it's a tremendous opportunity now to go forward in such a way that every month, going forward from here, you make it your business to do the gardening of your soul. The gardening of your soul basically means you have to do the fertilizing, the watering, the cleaning, the clearing, the pruning, the weeding. Okay? That is your business. That is your day job going forward. Month by month by month by month. So that when you do eventually get to the time point that you're talking about, you're clear. And the deep fear of the Ace of Cups not flowing into your life from up above is removed. And then all of a sudden, this makes sense. Yeah, sure. Keep going on the journey right now, but the actual day job, the tasks, the business of day-to-day is very much to do with the gardening of the soul, okay? There you go. I hope that helps you, Akat. You're going to be just fine. Don't be scared of this. Treat it as a pleasure. Treat it as a joy, knowing that by doing the gardening of the soul, you will access all of these beautiful pentacles. Okay? Next up, it's Nature Explorer. Hello, Blue Butterfly. Oh, I did it. Hello, Blue Butterfly. Thank you. Gonna put these all away here. Gonna shuffle it up, then we're gonna read for Nature Explorer. Yay. You're welcome, Akat. Don't worry. Thank you. If anybody needs a full-on consultation, I am available. The easy way to do that is you go over here. Let me just show you. You go to tarotlumination.com and you click the page where it says readings, and you can book and schedule yourself for a full-on consultation. It is a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding. Thank you. Okay. I know we can get a lot out of these mini readings, but it's a whole other thing when you do the full-on personal readings. I love doing the big full-on personal readings. We can talk and act and interact in ways that we could not do on a live stream like this. TL for hire, yeah. Thank you. I'm just going to shuffle it up and then we're going to go to Nature Explorer. Alright, Nature Explorer. I don't have any notes from you, so if it's okay, I'm just going to do a full-on blind reading. I'm just going to hang out here for a moment. I'm just going to check in with you guys until I see some notes from Nature Explorer. Hello, Nature Explorer. Looks like you're the last reading of the evening. That's okay. I can only handle a few readings at a time. Cheers, by the way. Thank you. Let me have a look what's going on in the chat a second. Hold on. Okay, it's a very tiny show tonight. That's all right. It's kind of like, who cares, so what? I'm at that point anymore. Let's put this over here. Clickety click, a couple of buttons. There we go. Alright. That's great. Okay. Alright. I like doing I mean it sounds like counterintuitive. There's a place, for example, there's a place where I like to go early in the morning. It's a donut shop. It's 1 mile away down the street here, and I can get up early and go on my bicycle to the donut shop, and they have fresh coffee and fresh donuts. And up in the corner they have one of those big screen TVs, and it's all set up for Spanish language. And I don't speak Spanish, so I don't really connect much. But I can tell just from the visuals some of the things that are going on. So one of the things that happens is that there are these folks, it's mostly these guys. It's a handful of guys. I think it's about 3 or 4 guys who run this TV tarot astrology consultation thing. And so they have all these amazing swirly things in the background, and they look very serious and important. And they have all these like Chiron things flashing on the screen. Call this 1-800 number now. Call now. Let's predict the future. Let's sort out your love life. And so on and so on. And they kind of do this like TV mesmerization thing. You must call me now. You will call me now and your problems will be solved. And they're saying it in Spanish. And it's very convincing. I feel like I want to call one of these guys. But it's like, it's one of the things that I've learned by doing this channel. There are some astrologers, especially the astrologers, not so much the tarot, but the astrologers. I have a couple of friends who are really high up in the YouTube astrology world. And they have huge subscriber lists, and they're very successful. and they just do things in a different way. And sometimes I get really envious and jealous because they're making a ton of money. I'm not kidding. I know I have a YouTube channel, so I've seen what happens with the money. Tarot Lumination is not one of those channels, but I know what is possible. And in my own ambitions, I felt like, wow, maybe I can be one of those. Whoa. So cool. But anyway, things are the way they are. And the couple of astrologers that I know are very successful on YouTube. And by my standards, they are rich. They are doing extremely well. And they deserve it too. And I kind of followed a path that I thought would be like, very appropriate, very helpful to humanity, and it didn't work out. And ACAT sent something there, quality not quantity. And so I've had my own humbling experience because I learned a lot of things really early on in my channel about what to do and how to do it. All the things that you're supposed to do to have a really big, successful channel that makes a lot of money. And then I'm reminded it's not about the money, Tarot Lumination. There's more to it than just the money. And so I have to deal with that because it's true. Anyway, we all have our own journeys. Next up, Nature Explorer. Here we go. You may want to sit on your hands. Let's have a look. Nature Explorer. When I think of nature, I think of earth signs. It doesn't mean you are an earth sign, but I think of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Explorer. I think of Sagittarius. Okay. Hashtag defund big tech. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle this up, and then we're just going to go completely wild here, okay? I can probably handle one more reading if anyone's interested. Hold on, I just got to do this. This is business. Hold on. Alright, so it looks like there's very few people here. But if there's anyone out there who's watching who's not actually logged in on the chat, we're still here. And I can handle one more reading if anyone's interested, okay? So we'll allow for that. But anyway, don't be shy. If you're lingering, if you're like on the edge thinking like this is weird, it feels like it's meaningful, but how do they do this stuff? That's okay. You don't have to know the details of the hows and whys. I do tarot and astrology. It's very hard to quantify this stuff or to validate this stuff in three-dimensional reality. And yet here we are. I live in a very rarefied world. Extremely rarefied world. The way I live, how I live, people I hang out with, it's all about operating at frequencies that really a lot of times don't bear a lot of correlation to three-dimensional life. I kind of talked about that much earlier in the show tonight, where I'm kind of aware that I'm a transient being and I have very little correlation to three-dimensional existence, and yet here I am. Here's the channel. Here you are. Here we are. What? ECAT. Hold on, I just saw a funny note from ECAT. If I sit on my hands, then my OCD will have to smell my fingers. Okay, let's not go there. Whoever's watching, you can figure that out for yourself. ECAT, what kind of whiskey do you drink, TL? I'm gonna get us some. Well, I will tell you. I don't have the bottle in front of me here right now, but what I will tell you is that the whiskey that I buy is a really good blended Scotch whiskey from Trader Joe. Trader Joe is in the United States, and it's like a small boutique-y, cliquey kind of grocery store. And the difference between Trader Joe and almost every other grocery chain in America is that Trader Joe is completely vertical. Almost everything on their shelves is a Trader Joe's own brand. Think about it. When you go to your Walmart, all the big name stores, mostly what you buy is national name brand products that are aligned on the shelves of these big name grocery stores. Trader Joe is completely different. They source their own products, they package their own products, they sell their own products under their own name. They don't have discount cards, they don't have any mail-in package deals or anything. The prices are extremely appealing, and the products are extremely good. Yeah, for example, ECAT, correct. My wine, I will just show you, stay there. The wine that I drink is $3 Chuck. Here it is. I'm not paid to market this, but this is $3 Chuck. This is a $3 bottle of wine. That is the equivalent of about an $8 or $9 bottle of wine from a boutique named Vineyard. A lot of people in the Napa Valley hate Charlie Shaw because what he does and how he operates is that he sucks up all the excess volume from the vineyards, puts it into a big bucket, and selectively blends it to deliver a really good Cabernet Sauvignon, for example. So Charlie Shaw is actually a lifesaver for the Napa Valley. And Charlie Shaw does business exclusively with Trader Joe. Do you see? It's a beautiful business model. Trader Joe is, from what I can tell, a really small grocery chain in America. Oh, sorry, that was, I don't know where that came from. Oh, sorry. But it's the same thing, okay, ECAT? The particular whiskey that I drink is the Trader Joe 1 liter bottle, name brand Trader Joe. And guess how much? $9.99. It's the equivalent of a $27 whiskey. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. It might not be the best whiskey. The Trader Joe 3-Buck Chuck and the Trader Joe whiskey, they are not the best whiskeys. They're not the best red wines on the planet. But when you want the best value for your dollar, it's impossible to beat those. Does that mean I'm a tightwad or anything? I used to be in the wine dealing and the spirit dealing business many years ago. And I understand the difference between a really high quality wine at great value compared to a very mediocre quality wine at very high price. Okay, so I've literally shared with you my secret. Trader Joe's, it's a very specific bottle. It is the $9.99 bottle, 1 liter Trader Joe whiskey, okay? ECAT, you need to move to St. Augustine. We'll have a great time together. Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right. Give me a second. I have to do something. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry about that. Ugh. All right, let's top it up and let's get rolling. Oh my God, Mr. Ross is here. My goodness. It's past your bedtime. What are you doing? I don't know. Hey Gregory, what's going on? We're at the end of the show now. I'm just doing the last reading for Nature Explorer. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're recovering. Everybody, in case you're not aware of it, I'm just going to spill the beans, Gregory. I hope you don't mind. Gregory caught the bug, and he was hospitalized in an ICU, still recovering. Hey Gregory, I hope you're okay. We'll catch up soon. Okay, you're out. Take care, ACAT. All the best. We'll catch up another time, all right? All right, Nature Explorer, it's on to you now. I like to do a full-on shuffle. TL, I'm drinking TJ red wine right now. Yo! I just saw that. Give me a second, Nature Explorer. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Okay. I don't know what else I can do, really. All right. Hold on. Give me a second here. All right. So, dear Nature Explorer, I'm just going to mentally rewind for a moment. Remember what I said. I was thinking of nature. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, and then Explorer, I'm thinking of Sagittarius. That's all I wanted to mention. I don't know what that means or anything, but I'm just extrapolating from your name, that's all. Cards are well shuffled, and we just did a big cut. Let's do it. Actually, I just did that. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Let's have a look at the weather for you in particular. Again, it's the same planets, but how does that work for you? So we got the moon here. All right, let's see if I can get you. Let's see if the camera will pick this up. Yeah, it's probably as good as it's going to get. It's a beautiful card, a beautiful image. So, my feeling for you, Nature Explorer, is to, it's kind of like what I do personally. Pay close attention to the lunar cycles. As you know, for example, tonight, right now, the moon is in Aquarius. A couple of days ago, it was over there in Capricorn. Very soon, the moon will be in Pisces. Okay? Nature Explorer says, I'm an 8th house sun. Aries, 8th house sun. Aries, 8th house. Okay. April, May, June, July, August. Perhaps like a Virgo rising. When you have sun in the 8th house, okay, it would be very natural and normal for you to have these very deep, perhaps confusing or intimate bonds with perhaps a small handful of other people where your life depends on it. Your money, your survival, your resources, your ability to survive could be very contingent upon that 8th house energy of other people's money, other people's energy, other people's resources. That might be a little awkward for Aries at times, but if you're born with that, you wouldn't know anything else. All right, so when I see the moon here, you know, the 8th house is very much to do with Pluto and Scorpio. Transformation, deep, profound soul connections, survival, death, birth. That Scorpio energy is aligned with Cancer energy and Piscean energy, which are both very strong right now, here and here. Okay? So even though you are an Aries, you might, at a really subliminal level, you might resonate very strongly with the Cancerian, Piscean types of energy. It might even be to the extent of people in your life. What I'm sensing here with the moon card for you, Nature Explorer, is that it's really important, like I said, to be aware of lunar cycles. So as an Aries, you would naturally be inclined to just wake up in the morning, do whatever you had to do, whatever you feel is right for you to get done what has to be done to live through your day. That's it. Super, super simple. But how does that work for you? Because when you look at your sun sign, it's like you're interpreting your whole chart through one single lens. Forget the word Scorpio here. Let's do it this way. Let's turn this into a Aries on the 8th house chart. Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, so there's Aries on the 7th. Okay, so let's do it like this. Aries on the 8th. Okay? So the axis here would be the Virgo Pisces axis. Do you see what I'm getting at here, Nature Explorer? This is the horizon for Virgo Pisces. And Sorry, it's not holding up very well. Alright, let's try that. Okay. This is the Virgo sector, the first house. This is the Pisces sector, the 7th house. And over here, this is the Aries sector in the 8th house. You can see that, Aries, over here. Okay, so you have all this sacred geometry which is affecting you right now, according to what you've described to me on your notes on the screen. I'm looking for the Cancer. Ah, yeah. Okay. So, when I see the moon here, I'm tempted to look at the sun and look at the moon. Cancer, Capricorn axis over here in this sector of your life and your world. So, with the sun in Cancer impacting your 11th house of society, of the group, of selflessness, you might be wondering, what the heck am I doing here? The energy of Aries is very self-oriented. You would naturally, your natural default settings would be to be who you are right now in the right place at the right time for the right reasons with the right people. And you would just automatically assume that that's how things are. You are who you are, and you are where you are meant to be at the right time, right place with the right people for the right reasons in the right location. Fine. But when I see like the moon here, it feels to me like there's this big question mark over here in your 11th house, and it would, the way I translate it is like, wow. Like, what is the bigger picture for me, nature explorer, in terms of where do I fit into society? Where it's not all about me, it's really just about me and my participation in society. The Cancer energy is really lighting that up. That's the moon. And the Capricorn energy over here, okay, where the moon is right now tonight, the moon is in Aquarius. Okay? The moon is in Aquarius over here, your 6th house. Again, to do with society. So it feels to me like there are these big questions going on inside of you that you might not normally be thinking about. Like, okay, wow, it's weird. I showed up on this show tonight. There's Tarot Lumination. I'm Nature Explorer. I'm getting my mini reading. He comes up with the moon card. He's showing me all this stuff on his astro doodles. It's pointing out these subject matters that really kind of like, it's not something you would normally pay any attention to, but it feels to me like this is something that's really important to you, where you start to realize, who am I, Aries, the energy of me, I, self, that's great. Who am I in the 8th house of other people's resources, others' energy? Who am I in the context of society, in the context of other people? What is the life that I'm supposed to be living in connection with other people? The Aries energy is so self-oriented, your whole life is about you. It doesn't mean you are going to be a megalomaniac or a narcissist, but with an Aries energy, you're always aligned with your own natural selfhood. But when you put that in the 8th house, And when I see this over here, and I'm connecting this very strongly with the Cancer-Capricorn axis that is active right now, and it's going to be very active again in 6 months from now, it feels to me like the energy here is all about like, wow, on the bigger picture, who am I, nature explorer, in the context of humanity? What exactly am I exploring? What exactly is my nature? Who am I really? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Okay, it's great that I'm exploring, but the idea as an explorer is that you need to find out. You get it? The whole idea of exploration is discovery. I don't know if you've ever thought about your life in that way, but that's really what I'm sensing here. Here's the situation. Okay, ha 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 ha! I got the Ace of Swords here. It makes me feel like, yeah, absolutely, I am on a mission. I am on a mission to discover truth, to discover knowledge and wisdom above and beyond anything and everything that I know already. Yeah! Definitely, okay? And that's fine to go on that mission of discovery. It's fine to go off into the world of the unknown, into the shadows and the darkness of life and the world and everything where you've never been before. That's the whole nature of exploration. Nature explorer. To discover truth, not to discover subjective truth, the truth according to nature explorer or the way that you were raised or conditioned as youth, but what about universal truth, universal laws? Whoa, that's a whole other thing. But you are on path for sure. That is your mission, and you have set that up for yourself, whether you like it or know it or not. What's the problem here? Okay, to me it feels like with the Five of Cups here, it's almost like this deep fear of what happens to me, Nature Explorer, when I truly follow my own path and I go off into the world of the unknown in order to discover what I really need to discover. Does that mean I am going to lose everything and anything in terms of love, family, and relationships? To me, this feels very much like a Sagittarius journey, where the Sagittarius sacrifices things like friends and family and comfort in order to discover and understand and know the energy of higher consciousness, the energy of universal truth. It would be terrifying. It would be you, like you are signing up for an expedition to climb the Matterhorn in Switzerland or climb, Mount Everest in the Himalayas and realizing, oh my God, what happens if I die? I'm going on such an extreme journey that it's like I'm leaving anything and everything behind that I love, and I'm so scared that I'm going to lose it and I'll never get it back again. And then once you have that awareness, you realize, wow, I have been loving. I have been loved. I know what it's like to love. I know what it's like to be loved. Does it really mean that life going forward from me excludes all of this? Am I going to end up just going on some weird, bizarre, esoteric journey into the unknown just to discover the world of universal truth? That would be a big impediment. A lot of people would say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not up for it. I don't want to just go off on a path of my own direction to learn how to be me. at the expense of leaving behind everything and anything that I love, anything and everything that loves me, just to go into the journey of the unknown? I don't know if I can handle that. That's a really scary proposition. Yeah. How are you going to deal with that? Okay. You're going to make it happen. You're going to make it your business to make it happen. The way I see this with the magician, for you, it's how are you going to do both things simultaneously? How are you going to keep going forward in your journey of discovery and exploration and understandings of universal truth, and keep the energy of love flowing in your life in a very simple three-dimensional term? You know, it's a very classic story with the explorers where they go off out into the wild and they leave their loved ones, home, friends, and family behind because they know they are committed to this journey of exploration. Well, my feeling with the magician here is that you can have it both ways. If you make it your business to have it both ways. In other words, you build it into your business plan going forward in life, like, I, Nature Explorer, I now commit to going forward in life where I'm going to exert all of my power, strength, commitment, passion, intelligence, knowledge, heart, and love and resources in such a way that I get to enjoy my journey and I get to enjoy the rewards of my journey with my loved ones, so that it all becomes worthwhile. I hope that makes sense to you, Nature Explorer. Because a lot of people, like Aries, like if you're highly motivated, like an Aries, and you're just committed to going forward, and you're not necessarily always aware about what you are leaving behind, but it looks to me like you are very aware of that. So how can you have the best of both worlds? That's what I see is happening here. It is possible, but you have to build it into your business plan. In other words, okay, let's look at it like this. Okay, I'm going to really dumb this down. It's just like, oh, how am I going to do this? Oh, I'm going to go on my explorations, but I'm going to carry my smartphone with me, and every day I'm going to update my friends and family and loved ones. Like, hey, it was a great day. I nearly fell off the cliff. I nearly lost all my money. I nearly died from blah, blah, blah. I had this amazing thing. I ended up talking with llamas. I met some spirit energies that I didn't know existed. Blah, 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 blah. Do. And you make that part of your business plan. You don't just go forward, classic Aries style, and then wait for everyone to catch up with you. Instead, you kind of compromise with yourself and you make a deal, like, I'm going to go forward anyway. I'm going to live my life, my journey, but I'm going to share the experience with my loved ones so that we still have this connection. Okay? Yes, Tia. Okay, I hope you understand. I don't know if I was going too big or too spacey or too weird, but if you understand, I will take you at your word that you understand. Okay? Thank you, Nature Explorer. See, with the magician here, you can do this, but it requires making a decision and a commitment to doing this at the level to which we talked about. It would be so much easier to just go blindly on your own journey, scrambling about into the future, into the fear, into the unknown, into the wilds. Sure, no problem. But you already know that's going to be painful and lonely. So here's the answer. It's totally possible. Thank you. I'm glad you understand. Just for anyone else out there who's watching this, please understand, dear viewers, that I have no direct personal relationship with Nature Explorer, but the reading itself brings us together in such a way that we effectively do have a relationship. We don't need to have blood bonds. We don't have to slash our wrists and create blood bonds. We don't, the way this channel works is we operate on very high frequencies where we're connected together, almost like we are in the same room together simultaneously, just having a conversation over a glass of wine. And everything just flows naturally. But instead, we do it here on this channel. That's all. You're more than capable, okay? Nature Explorer, you're more than capable. But you have to bring all of this into full conscious awareness. And I think that's the purpose of this reading. You just needed to hear it back from somebody else so that it makes sense to you. Like, it's like you already know this. You just needed affirmation. Okay? You totally got this. Don't worry about it. You're absolutely fine. You're going to be fine. Alright, that looks like it. Looks like we're done, folks. I don't have any more bookings. I don't have any readings. So let's move on. I'll live you with your lives. And I wish you the best, everybody. Like I said, if anyone's interested in a full-on, full-blown personal reading, we can do that. Disclaimer. I see your disclaimer, Akat. I see that. That's so sweet. You're very kind. Thank you. Alright, so there we go. I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay? It's been a wonderful evening. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I hope that there are other viewers who had a chance to watch this, and perhaps some of these readings had an impact on them above and beyond the one-on-one relationships with the actual clients in the readings themselves. It's very common on this channel for having a reading with a particular individual, and somehow or other, by magic, it resonates with someone else who might be watching the show, and they didn't even type in or send in the chat or anything, but it's very real. On the chat, I can see it over here on the chat screen. It says, I am interested in a personal reading, TL. Okay? And then they say, blessed be everyone. Okay, so I'll leave it up to you, Akat. All you have to do is go to tarotlumination.com and follow the links and prompts. You can say, I think there's a page. Let me just show it. Well, it doesn't even show it, but I'll do something. Hold on. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a button at the top that says Readings. If you click that button, ECAT, you can go through the process of scheduling and purchasing your own reading, okay? It's really simple. And all that happens is we do a PayPal thing, and then we schedule your time and day for your reading, and we conduct it live through the Tarot Lumination personal Zoom system. Okay? It's really good fun. I've done thousands of readings for people. I hope to be able to continue. I would be very honored to do a reading for you and with you. Okay? All right, thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a super evening. We're going to wrap it up now. Please pay attention to your personal astrology. Please pay attention to the transits as they are happening moment by moment in the heavens. There's a reason why we run this channel the way we run this channel. Everything is in a constant state of flux, and yet, at certain ways, things are fixed. If you look at yourself with your own astrology chart, okay, for example, let's say you were born right now, today, tonight, in such a way that the ascendant is in Aries, then your birth chart would look just like this. Get it? Of course, this is not your birth chart. You were born before these times. But still, we allow for this when we do the personal readings, okay? Hey, Cat, I thought we were doing a trade. I guess we could figure that out. Don't worry about it, Ikat. Just get in touch with me through this. A little book about at yahoo.com. That's what would happen anyway if you were going to book a personal reading. It would go through this email anyway, so you might as well just go straight there. I'm sending $3 Chuck for my trade. That's fantastic. I'll take it. I'm very glad to accept $3 Chuck. All right, everybody. Good night. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this over on the side here. It's been a pleasure. I'm just going to mark this as the astrology for the evening. Put this over here. Please make the best of this. With all this red goopy stuff over here, this is our opportunity. This is your opportunity to grow through challenge. The green stuff and the sweet spots, that's the way you can enjoy the moment. Okay? All right, I'm going to sign out now. Let's see, how would we do this? All right, let's try again. Here we go.